everybody. Excited to have a conversation on business and the impact it's having on our lovely city of Cincinnati. I'm your host, Jordan Cornette. You can find me on various ESPN platforms covering a variety of different sports. But for now, I'm talking about the city I love most, with two quickly becoming friends, as we just had lunch, and now we're ready to carry on with the second part of the day. So I'd like to introduce Julie Calvert, the CEO and president of Visit Cincy, and Kim Lauterbach, president and CEO of Ready Cincinnati. So I think a great place to start here as we talk about Cincinnati and how business is booming. Kim, you know as well as anybody, by the way, a late congratulations. Cincinnati Business Courier named you the 2021 CEO of the Year for small nonprofit organizations. Expansion is a perpetual theme when it comes to Cincinnati. How much growth and opportunity are you seeing recently? What was the turning point, if you will?
You know, really the city has been on fire for several years. We had our second best year ever last year in terms of expansions and new job attraction. We actually weathered very well through the pandemic. I mean, it was certainly tough times, but we still had those looks there. Ready Cincinnati's been around for 8 years, and we've seen the momentum ever since we came into existence.
Julie, as you look at what the city of Cincinnati has become, and you are a face of this city in terms of tourism, what is the best selling point? As you watch a city that, we talked about this, the perception of the city in years past, a long time ago, wasn't negative, it wasn't positive, it was just kind of neutral. Where have you seen the perception of the city go? Because we all know very well it's positive.
Well, it's very positive, and it's really been, like Kim said, kind of on this upward trajectory for the past 5 to 10 years. But I think people come to the city and they're just so overwhelmed by the experience that they have. I keep hearing all the time, which I want to get to the point where we don't have to say this anymore. I never knew that this was here. Whether it's great neighborhoods, arts and culture, the food scene, just the whole navigability, if you will, of the city. People just come there and they find that that the values line up, and they find themselves really immersing themselves in everything there is Cincinnati. And just the friendliness of the city, the beauty, the neighborhoods, the architecture. We have so many films that are produced in Cincinnati because it plays with the architecture kind of plays like a mini New York, if you will. And so I think to have all those things, really nestled in a Midwestern city really speaks well for Cincinnati.
No question, Julie. Kim, as you look at the Super Bowl and you talk about a direct impact, how does the impact of the Bengals being in the Super Bowl help you to sell the region or sell the city of Cincinnati, but also the different regions within Ohio?
Yeah, I saw a great quote today that said that, the city was already great. This is just letting other people know how great we are.
Sure.
It's making it that much easier for us to have conversations about Cincinnati. So it's giving us more looks, more eyeballs, more things to talk about. We sent out a bunch of these fun hats to our site consultants, kind of that hook on how come look at Cincinnati. But it hasn't fundamentally changed what we already knew we had, right, going for us. The low cost of living, the high quality of life, our ability to be to 50, 60% of the population quickly. So it's just giving us that extra layer of something to talk about to generate that excitement.
Julie, what are the selling points for a city like Cincinnati for those who aren't familiar with it, who maybe are from the East Coast, the South, the North, the West Coast?
I think the location of where Cincinnati is, kind of right in the middle of, sort of in the middle of the country, kind of not too far west, but not too far east. So again, you're an hour or 4-hour drive, plane ride of 60% of the nation's population. The compact nature of the city, the walkability of it. I think also, to Kim's point, the low cost of doing business and visiting in Cincinnati is important. We have really just terrific hotels that are they're built in these buildings that are just, we restore the buildings and don't tear them down, we restore them and give them a second life. And just that experience and the beauty of all that, really, it just feels like very special, in Cincinnati. So for us, whether we're talking to a leisure visitor or we're talking to a convention planner, it's really all the things about, it's kind of all within your reach, and it's affordable.
Absolutely. Kim, as you look at what Ready Cincinnati, as you're the president and CEO, what it's been able to do for Cincinnati, and these numbers may have been shifted, so correct me if I'm wrong, but since 2014, over 22,000 jobs have been created and over $2.4 billion in capital investment. What have been some of the staples to your guys' success and the move with the momentum heading nothing but north?
I think really it's a combination of fantastic support with our homegrown companies. You look at companies like a Procter & Gamble, a Kroger, having those massive anchors there, the diversity of our economy that draws all different types of business. So as one might not be doing well, another industry is. But really then it's the vibrancy. We're talking about the selling points, the vibrancy of the city, the arts, the culture, the food, the films that are made there, all of these things that make the city so, I think, unexpected, and the ability to really appeal to this entire diverse base helps grow in any and every industry.
Julie, what do you dream of for Cincinnati? Because I think a lot of this is about dreaming and forward thinking and progress. And for a city that's propped up in a pretty nice place right now, what does the future look like for the city of Cincinnati?
Well, the fact that the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, right now, just that whole comeback story.
Means anything is possible.
Everything is possible, right? I mean, 30 years we waited for this, right? So we're taking full advantage of it. So, I think for me, working in the tourism industry, my dream is that, people, see the city in the outshots, that are going to happen, that's been happening all week and then into this weekend, and just pick up and visit. They pick up and visit. There's all sorts of tourism traffic that's happening all over the place, and the locals are cursing because there's all those tourists are here,
Yes.
right? And so I think, and for us too at the CVB, I mean, we have 500 companies that are members of our organization, so that they grow, they prosper through the visitor economy, just for people to come and discover Cincinnati and love it so much that they move there. Love it so much that they move a company there, or they expand the company in Cincinnati. And that starts with all of us working together, but it starts with the visitor. Because people don't visit Cincinnati, people don't move to cities that they hadn't visited first. So that's, our hope for how we capitalize on what's happening now, is that we're getting more visitors, more residents, more companies, expanded businesses, and everybody's prospering, and the tide is rising.
No question. Kim, the buzzword probably expansion and growth with jobs. And as you look at the economy in Cincinnati, fortified but can only go north. As we talk about momentum here, what do you envision the future looking like in that regard?
We've been so fortunate in the diversity of that business base that we can draw from. Certainly we had the announcement that was so good for the city of Ohio with Intel making that massive announcement that really puts Ohio in a different light, and certainly that includes Cincinnati. So you layer in the Super Bowl appearance that it is us, really starts to take a different shape, right? We're really becoming a much more technological, innovative area where we can, I think, have the amenities that bring those types of workers in there. So we're really hopeful that this continued, again, light on the city, helps someone say, gosh, what the heck is going on there in Cincinnati? I should go visit, because I guarantee you, if you come, you're not leaving.
Absolutely. We did touch on in earlier conversations a bid for FIFA, Julie, coming to the city of Cincinnati. For those who are only looking at it through a sports lens, and we know the soccer craze that's come with FC Cincinnati, but beyond the sport, what could that mean in terms of the city? And then also, I'm curious, Kim, impact economically that could have as well.
Yeah. So again, they have a FIFA event. We talk about it in terms of it's like having 7 Super Bowls at one time, in your
it's
city.
It's a global sport there. We talk about football.
Yeah.
I mean, soccer's on an entirely different level.
So people will come from all over the world, to Cincinnati to experience that game. And so I think for us, it is about increasing our diverse resident base, that they'll come to Cincinnati and see the affordability, the amenities, the navigability of the city, easy to get around, the education system that exists in Cincinnati, how strong it is, whether it's university or high school, and decide they want to move there. And so again, we're building a more diverse resident base. That means again more businesses, more tourism opportunities. So I think we really can't understate the importance and just the benefit and value of having people come to Cincinnati. And again, cities like LA, are bidding for it. Big cities across the nation are bidding for this. And then here's Cincinnati on the cusp of being able to secure that, for the city. So again, it just gives another reason to put massive amounts of eyeballs on Cincinnati. Look at our companies, look at what we have to do here, what life is like living in Cincinnati. It's kind of a smaller city with big city amenities.
Sure.
It's all accessible to. You can have access there, you can get there. So I think that we're going to win.
Yeah, I hope so. Fingers crossed.
And I think when you talk about the impact too, you mentioned it, it's a global stage, right? And what we know about Cincinnati is we are one of the most globally connected communities. We have over 450 foreign-owned firms that make the Cincinnati region home, which is a really huge number when you think about the size of our region. That plays so well to that global audience. As you start to get, again, that global audience coming into Cincinnati and eyeballs on it, you're seeing, wait, there's companies that are from my hometown, companies from my country, people who are like me here, people who speak my language, people who eat my food, people who do this. Helps, again, I think, attract that really welcoming place for us to have those expansions.
Well, I think that of the many things that come from this, clearly promise and the belief that the future is going to be very bright, and to kind of channel that statement made by the Bengals, it's become a rallying cry, is Cincinnati, it is us.
It is us.
Kim and Julie, I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.